Welcome, everyone, to Episode 3 of Presidents Play Bioshock. This week, your favorite U.S. presidents are going to investigate Fontaine's smuggling operation in Neptune's bounty.
Now you've had the pleasure of Andrew Ryan's company. He's the one who built this place, and he's the one who ran it into the ground. Nobody knows exactly what happened. Maybe he went mad. Maybe the power got to him. Maybe he just decided he didn't like people. Whichever way you slice it, good men died. My family's in a submarine hidden in the foundation of Fontaine fisheries. I'll meet you there.
Atlas sure isn't a fan of Andrew Ryan, huh?
Everyone loves to hate the man on top. I know a thing or two about that myself.
And you've earned every bit of it.
Is a man not entitled to the backlash he solicits?
Speaking of backlash, did either of you check out the comments from episode 2? Joe got absolutely clocked by our viewers for harvesting Little Sister number 1, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Yep. And I need to clear some things up about that, actually.
Wait, before you do, zoom in real fast. That splicer's got a dumpy on her, doesn't she?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Look, to set the record straight, our viewers were absolutely right for clobbering Joe last week, but there seems to be a misconception that we are locked to the, quote, bad ending due to that harvest. I touched on this at the end of the episode, but it's actually still possible for us to get the good ending, as long as neither of you get the Adam Sweats and harvest any more Little Sisters.
Boo, everyone always does the good ending. Live a little, folks. Variety is the spice of life after all.
Calling slaughtering children the spice of life should be a one-way ticket to the gulag, you goddamn monster. But up ahead, you'll see our very first Rosie Big Daddy. Rosies differ from bouncers in that they are ranged combatants, utilizing their rivet gun and proximity mines in combat, as opposed to the bouncer's drill. Their attacks are generally more difficult to avoid and can drop you very quickly on survivor difficulty, so I won't be taking him on just yet.
And that's why no one will remember your name.
Your garden is overgrown and your cucumbers are soft.
Gotta be one Ed, and Eddie fan watching this video, right?
Yeah, all right, it's just good sense at this point. There's some new tools in Neptune's bounty I want to pick up before I start trying to tackle Rosie's. Don't you worry, there will be plenty of Big Daddy action later in the video.
In any other context, the phrase Big Daddy action would cause Bill to spontaneously appear in his gimp suit, ready for a pounding. You guys think he's still in good spirits after getting thrown in the Hamlet dungeon?
I don't want to think about the state of the darkest dungeon Hamlet right now, Donald. We are playing this game as an escape to avoid thinking about how bad things have gotten for us.
I don't want to think about him being executed either, but we are going to have to figure out a plan at some point.
I'm going to stop at this Gatherer's Garden to purchase an extra plasmid slot and pick up the Sonic Boom plasmid, which offers great short to mid-range crowd control by blasting splicers to the ground, leaving them wide open for shotgun or machine gun mag dumps. Enjoy this Sonic Boom promotional ad from Ryan Industries.
Knock foes back with hurricane force. Laugh as they bounce off the wall.
What a fantastic idea for a plasmid. Su Chong really cooked with this one. Do you have an older relative holding your inheritance hostage? Do you live in a conservative state and your mistress just hit you with the old double line on a clear blue? Is there an annoying nursing home resident trying to steal a Democratic presidential election from you by rigging voting machines and bringing long-deceased demo cunts back from the dead as mail-in voters? All you need is Sonic Boom, a flight of stairs, and some good old-fashioned plausible deniability, baby. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Did you hear all that, folks? Everyone's upset with me, and Donald just gets a pass for being an actual demon. Disclaimer, we do not offer familial, relationship, or political advice on this channel. If you choose to vote for reality TV stars and Splice, you do so at your own risk.
Equally insane decisions.
We're putting all the bathyspheres in lockdown until further notice. Ryan had us install some kind of genetic device into the thing, so only Ryan and his inner circle will be able to use them without dispensation. But the boys tell me the keys are pretty unreliable. Sisters, cousins, anybody in the ballpark genetically will be able to come and go as they see fit.
Sullivan is Ryan's chief of security and problem solver. He spends a great deal of time in the early 1950s investigating Fontaine fisheries for proof of smuggling, but he struggles to find hard evidence while ducking assassination attempts along the way.
So at some point Ryan had Sullivan try and limit bathysphere access to Ryan's family and inner circle, huh? Good thing the code was janky so we are able to use them still, otherwise we wouldn't be able to progress.
Crazy that such pivotal information is revealed so early in the game, isn't it? But honestly, it's a genius move. Locking down certain sections of Rapture would allow Ryan and his friends to create a safe haven in Hephaestus while thinning out the number of splicers he had to deal with, since they'd surely devolve into infighting over Adam.
Yeah, but we are getting a little ahead of ourselves. I want to take you back to the late 1940s to discuss a man named Frank Gorland. He was running a bar by the docks in New York when he overheard that wealthy businessman Andrew Ryan was leading a secret project in the Atlantic. A clever con man, always on the lookout for the next big score, Gorland starts investigating the construction of Rapture and learns that local fisherman Frank Fontaine is supplying Ryan's men with meals. Recognizing this as his opportunity to get closer to Ryan's project, Gorland murders Frank Fontaine and assumes his identity. Over the next few years, Gorland runs a successful fishing operation to impress Ryan and makes several attempts to request an invite to the undersea colony. In 1948, Gorland, now Frank Fontaine, is finally given an audience with Sullivan and offered his very own one-way ticket to Rapture. Frank would waste no time setting up Fontaine fisheries in the lower wharf of Neptune's Bounty, laying the groundwork for his inevitable feud with Andrew Ryan.
I don't remember any of that actually being mentioned in the game. Is that more book lore, Barack? Is that book even canon, or are you shoving a bunch of fan fiction down our viewers' throats? I know how you lying lefties just love your fake news.
Ken Levine, creative lead for Bioshock 1, consulted with author John Shirley on the events and plot of the Bioshock Rapture novel and approved of its final release. While Ken is a controversial figure, especially given some of the things he did with Bioshock Infinite, I consider the general approval of the creative lead and the way the novel really enriches the Bioshock world building to be valuable enough to discuss for the purposes of our videos.
I didn't hear a yes or a no anywhere in that word salad. Typical wishy-washy politician.
Atlas radioed on ahead. Says you were looking for an invite to the fisheries. Nuts, I say. But if your head's up to the Wharfmaster's office and find old Peach a research camera, maybe I could manage an invite. What was that? My friend, you are fucked.
Barry, look out. It's one of those Spider-Man cosplayers from before.
It's actually the exact same spider splicer that killed Johnny in Welcome to Rapture. Her name is Rose, and she is a unique and extra powerful spider splicer. These splicers are very quick, acrobatic, and aggressive, which makes Sonic Boom an excellent choice to disable them and create space.
You aren't kidding, our machine gun is barely tickling her. We could sure use one of those murder bots that Atlas chased her off with right about now.
Peach, if you want our help, get your bitch ass out here and contribute, damn it.
You hold tightly. I'm sending something first to watch your back.
Hell yeah, another murder bot, baby.
Yep, every 28 days, lady.
That one's too tough for you. Look on the conveyor belt. You'll find something to keep you alive. Now, go get that camera, and then snapshots of those that crawls on the ceiling. Then I'll let you into the fisheries. Just remember, sonny friend, I smell an ounce of Fontaine on you, and I'll have you in a box. Atlas gives you the vouch, but I ain't turning my eye just on his say-so.
A grenade launcher in an underwater city, I mean, what could go wrong, right?
Grown man jumping at ghosts. Fontaine's dead, and everybody knows it. In the ground for months, and half the place still jumping at his shadow. Christ, even Ryan. You never mind all that. We got work to do.
You know, Fontaine must have really made a name for himself down here for everyone to still be spooked by a dead man. So the guy is a con artist, fisherman, and smuggler, right? I get he was dangerous, but how bad could he really have been?
We have several audio logs this episode from a few different individuals that will illustrate just how dangerous and influential Frank Fontaine was. As bad as Ryan is, Fontaine was just as bad, if not worse. Get a load of this next log from Chief Sullivan.
Jesus, man, it smells like George R.R. Martin looks down here.
Mr. Ryan asked me personally to make this clear to you. You give us Fontaine and this whole filthy ring of his, and you'll be knocking back pints up at the Fighting McDonagh's. But if you prefer to play the mule, we'll treat you like a mule. Give him a taste, Patrick. What's that? Change of heart, Timmy? Timmy! Ready to talk now?
Go on, Sullivan. Go on and do your dirty. Whatever Ryan thinks he can do to me, Fontaine can do double!
Damn, guy's strung up and being electrocuted and won't give up Fontaine because he's more scared of him than Ryan and Sullivan? That's pretty nuts. Guess we got kind of lucky. Fontaine was already dead by the time we got here. Ryan is bad enough.
Oh, you sweet summer child. And don't think we didn't see you almost blow yourself to smithereens with that point-blank shot with the grenade launcher Obama. You've had a couple of close calls this episode already, and the hard sections of this level haven't even begun yet. All that dorky-ass nerd knowledge about the Bioshock universe isn't going to stop the Rosies from blowing more holes in you than the plot of Burial at Sea.
Seems like old Peach knows where to find a research camera. He seems a decent enough sort. No doubt he'll wait until after you've done his errands to stick a shiv in your belly.
Close calls don't count for anything, Donald, and to be fair, you aren't entirely wrong about Burial at Sea being a bit of a mess, but I'm going to do my very best to tidy it up once we get there. For now, here's Andrew Ryan realizing Fontaine is intent on being a thorn in his side.
This Fontaine fellow is somebody to watch. Once he was just a menace, to be convicted and hung. But he always manages to be where the evidence isn't. He's the most dangerous type of hoodlum. The kind with vision.
It's occurred to me I'm not exactly sure what it is that Ryan suspected Fontaine of smuggling into Rapture.
Ryan has a strict policy of isolation from the surface world to prevent Rapture's discovery, so any goods from the surface would be considered contraband. Popular items included books, Bibles, beef, and pork, and essentially anything not manufactured in Rapture that there was a lucrative demand for.
Trump Bibles being illegal in Rapture is Andrew Ryan's only major L.
Something must be done about Fontaine. While I was buying buildings and fish futures, he was cornering the market on genotypes and nucleotide sequences. Rapture is transforming before my eyes. The great chain is pulling away from me. Perhaps it's time to give it a tug.
And here we have an intro to what Fontaine spent that smuggling money on. In 1951, Fontaine communes with Yi Suchong and Brigid Tenenbaum about their interest in atom research and Ryan's skepticism and unwillingness to commit to fully funding their project. Intrigued by the possibility of altering genetics with atom, the trio strike a deal to experiment with it under Ryan's nose. Fontaine offers to provide funding and exploit local criminals as test subjects, in exchange for the pair keeping the project quiet and cutting Ryan out of the deal.
Okay, forget what I said earlier. Missing the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of atom research is Ryan's biggest L. I mean, Suchong and Tenenbaum are both Looney Tunes, and magic sea slug goo that gives people superpowers is a hell of a sales pitch, but it seems like exactly the kind of cutting-edge science and innovation that Ryan built Rapture to cultivate.
Imagine being an extreme capitalist, big-shot businessman and getting science cucked by a fisherman. Had to be quite a blow to Ryan's ego.
Quote, science cucked is an insane phrase, Joseph. But yes, believe it or not, it wasn't until around 5 years later in 1956 when Ryan finally realizes he has to make a move to get into the atom business. By then, splicing was already emerging as a major issue in Rapture.
The research camera looks just like one you'd see topside. According to this magazine article I scrounged up, it can also analyze genetic information, parse biological structures, and lots of other $5 words.
Not gonna lie, I really don't remember the research camera aspect of this game fondly. I mean, I know we are in an undersea civilization built in the mid-1900s with genetic modification via sea slug goo, and yet a camera that somehow makes you shoot the people you photograph better still seems like a ludicrous concept. Plus, it's a bit tedious to snap the photos, and I hate the way the screen goes out of focus whenever you pull the camera out. It isn't as bad as the hacking minigame, and the rewards are nice, but let's try and get the research out of the way. ASAP.
Agreed, another gameplay aspect that Bioshock 2 significantly improves upon, and I forgot how much goddamn security there is in the Wharf Master's office. There's more cameras and turrets in here than there are outside Andrew Ryan's fucking office, I swear to God.
If the terror of Yemen himself, Barack Obama's first death of this series is getting blown to smithereens by the 1960s version of a drone strike, right after Joe Hide Your Kids Biden tripped over a small child and died last episode, I just might actually piss myself laughing.
I'm never going to live that down, am I?
Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, all right. I said I'd save the sisters since it seems like Tenenbaum's rescue plasmid works. I only harvested the first sister because I didn't know any better, and it's my first time playing this video game and I wanted to see what would happen. Definitely not because I was fiending for a hit of Adam like I'm Tyrone Biggums. Meanwhile, Donald referred to himself last episode as a, quote, harvest enjoyer. I'm not the one everyone should be worried about, folks.
Yeah, Donald, we are going to have to come to some sort of an agreement here, man. Rescuing the sisters in Bioshock 1 is better for the plot, especially in retrospect, the further we get into the series.
A genius businessman such as myself knows that altruism is a load of commie bullshit, especially in Rapture. I know my boy Andrew Ryan would agree with me on this. You two are starting to sound like Sophia Lamb with this goody two-shoes garbage. I might be willing to see things your way, but you're gonna have to sweeten the pot for me a little, because I hold all the power next episode in Arcadia, and if I'm not convinced otherwise, I'm taking the atom slugs for myself. Sisters be damned, and using it to splice some of Fontaine's hair grow tonic, so I can have an incredible head of hair and finally ditch this fucking toupee.
You know, I've been watching the recent episodes of South Park. Donald, does Fontaine also have a plasmid to help out with your little tiny microscopic baby dick?
Okay, that's enough from both of you. Donald, I have an arrangement in mind, but we aren't going to discuss it on camera right now. And speaking of cameras, the research camera is in this office. Let's everyone calm down, snap some photos of splicers, check out the rest of the wharf, and save some sisters before heading back to Fontaine Fisheries.
Good. You got the camera. Now get me some snaps on those spider splicers. And don't come back down here till you got my research.
This photo kind of looks like shit. An A grade is really generous. Must be being graded on those USA public school grading scales where nobody is allowed to fail or the funding gets cut.
Literally training an entire generation to be lazy parasites. Andrew Ryan wouldn't stand for this kind of crap, and neither will I.
Donald just glossing over how he didn't even take his own SATs and college entrance exams.
Fake news, Kenyon!
Guys in no position to criticize anyone's approach to schooling. That being said, yeah, I'm not quite sure why the photos are so indiscernible. I even played with the video settings to try and fix it. Not really an issue though, we won't be showing many photos anyway. We just showed the first few for the damage bonus to spider splicers pop up. But here we have the security Bullseye plasmid, the single most busted tool in all of Bioshock 1. It redirects all of Ryan's security systems to target whoever is hit by it, so you can manipulate hostile turrets, cameras, and bots into attacking the enemy of your choosing instead of you. I'll demonstrate why it's so busted later on, but for now, enjoy this security Bullseye ad from Ryan Industries.
Trick the security system. Set security bots and turrets on your enemies.
Hang on, I thought we were playing on Survivor difficulty for the challenge? Don't tell me you plan on cheesing the damn game with security Bullseye. What's even the point then? You might as well throw the whole death competition out the window.
Is it really that overpowered, Obama? Kinda unfair that you had me play 2 episodes without it and gave yourself the first episode with it, isn't it?
Oh, so when shit's rigged against you, it isn't so funny. Huh, Joe? Well, I can't blame you for clocking Obama for this. I know the kind of lazy crap you can do with security Bullseye, and if Obama is willing to do something so terribly uninteresting for the content for the sake of trying to win a death competition in the game he chose, then it's proof he's trash at gaming, and I've lost what little respect I might have had for him.
I'll address it in a minute. Quiet down for this important audio log.
This little sea slug has come along and glued together all the crazy ideas I've had since the war. It doesn't just heal damaged cells, it resurrects them. I can bend the double helix. Black can be reborn white, tall, short, weak, strong. But the slugs alone are not enough. I'll need money. And one other thing.
So, she gets the money to play God with Adam from Fontaine, but what's the other thing she needs?
In due time, Joe. Now, to address concerns about security Bullseye, there's really just one specific interaction security Bullseye has that makes it kind of game-breaking. I'm going to show it later on, and you and Donald are both free to use it once each yourselves, but how about after that we avoid that particular interaction for the sake of gameplay integrity?
I guess that's fair.
What do you say, Donald?
Fine, I guess. Once each lets us conserve some resources in the early game and spam research photos of security bots to get that crap out of the way as quickly as possible so we can unlock auto-hacking of disabled bots and preserve some of our editor's sanity. The amount of time he spends editing out the hacking minigame is crazy.
I sure as shit don't have the time to spend dozens and dozens of hours per video editing. You think that guy will ever go outside and touch grass?
Not a chance.
There are better odds of Donald pronouncing acetaminophen correctly than that guy ever touching grass. But I'm going to play a couple of pretty significant audio logs in the Rapture post office while I grab the last spider splicer photo we need for Peach. Here's a glimpse into how desperate Ryan got to maintain control of Rapture as things really got out of hand in the late 1950s.
The death penalty and rapture. Council's in an uproar. Riots in the streets, they say. But this is the time for leadership. Action must be taken against the smugglers. Any contact with the surface exposes Rapture to the very parasites we fled from. A few stretched necks or a small price to pay for our ideals.
Hanging people for the sake of your ideals is some wicked work.
Yeah, and here's Sullivan's take on it.
Hanging now, is it? That's what we've come to? Now look, I don't make the laws here, I just enforce them. But I didn't come to Rapture to string men up for running contraband. If Ryan and his crew have their law, then they can have my badge.
Huh, I guess even Ryan's enforcer reached his limit with the head honcho's extremism. Kinda makes me respect Sullivan. At some point you can't just keep following orders.
Don't run away from me!
Well, that should about do it. Head on back to Fontaine Fisheries when you're ready, would you kindly?
Oh, okay, I think we will, Atlas.
Just like the Pied Piper led rats through the streets, Joe dances like a marionette, swaying to the symphony.
Can't believe Megadave is finally hanging it up after all these years. I still remember a relative gifting me a copy of Countdown to Extinction he burned onto a CD.
Nobody watching this under the age of 30 is going to know what the hell burning a CD means.
Those were the good old days, weren't they? Downloading sketchy copies of songs off LimeWire to make your own mixes. Infecting your parents' computer with malware. Just so damn classic. We were a proper country once.
The hell do you mean your parents' computer? You're about to turn 83 years old.
Here we have the Scrounger Physical Gene Tonic, a pretty useful reward for researching thuggish splicers. It allows you to do a single re-roll of the loot found in corpses and environmental items like crates and cabinets. Very handy if you are finding uninspiring loot. You do have to be careful, however, as it is certainly possible to re-roll and get worse loot than was originally offered to you. A bit of a gamble, but with some tact it's pretty useful, especially for how early you can acquire it.
Fun fact, utilizing the Scrounger Gene Tonic is how the Democrats were able to re-roll all those votes overnight in Pennsylvania in 2020.
Wait, what?
Haha, get fucked, Donald.
See, folks, I knew that shit was rigged.
Okay, kids, settle down. We are entering a pretty neat area here, the Fighting McDonagh Tavern, which of course belonged to the protagonist of the Bioshock Rapture novel, Bill McDonagh. I quite enjoyed Bill's journey, as it illustrates how folks might be enticed into moving to Rapture, and how Ryan expertly wielded his conviction, charisma, and bank account to lure folks to the underwater civilization and proselytize them to his way of thinking.
The thought of me wife and child hiding in that filthy submarine makes me blood boil. Help me get them to safety and I'll be in your debt for life.
I met Ryan the day me and the lads were installing the bathroom plumbing up in his Posh Park Avenue digs. Oi, says he, what's with all the brass fittings? General contractor had me down for the tip. Well, I says, I suppose it's the contractor then who'll be bailing out your loo once a fortnight, is it? If it's price you're worried about, I'll be picking up the brass, so not to worry, Squire. And why would you be doing that, says he? Well, Mr. Ryan, profit or not, no man bails water out of privies built by Bill McDonagh. Next day I finds out I'm Ryan's new general contractor.
Hard-working folks finally getting their break professionally because of the good, honest work they do. Damn it, you gotta love it.
And that's how we know this story is fiction.
Bill would come to wish he hadn't taken that job given what Rapture became, but for a while he was happy as Andrew Ryan's right-hand man, and about as close a thing as Ryan had to a real friend. Here's Bill voicing some of his concerns about the state of Rapture after the advent of Adam.
Rapture's changing, but Ryan can't see the wolves in the woods. This Fontaine fella, he's a crook and a proper tea leaf, but he's got the Adam, and that makes him the governor. Sinking the profits back into bigger and better plasmids, building them Fontaine poorhouses, or like Fontaine recruiting centres. Before we know it, bloke's gonna have an army of splicers. We're gonna have ourselves a whole heap of miseries.
So hard-working. Every man Bill is saying Fontaine was giving handouts as thinly veiled, weaponized altruism as a means of fostering dependence and securing loyalty to further his political and financial goals? Gee, I wonder what political party that sounds like.
That's an asinine comparison and you know it. You take all the Hitler comparisons very personally. Don't turn around and do the same thing by comparing us to Fontaine.
Oh, fine. I was just taking the piss anyway. Don't get your catheter in a twist over it. A trip and fall at your age, and it's curtains.
I'm closing in on the whole ring. I'd pat myself on the back, but let's face it, these aren't exactly bloodthirsty desperados we're talking about. Rapture's full of poets, artists, and tennis players, not hired guerrillas. But this leader of theirs, this Fontaine. He seems to know his way around the grift. He keeps his nose clean, but not so clean that the right people don't know he's not to be trifled with.
Diane, my dear, I'm sorry, but I'll be late again tonight. Rosenberg is demanding to speak about this Fontaine business. I'm trying to build a proper financial market, and this idiot keeps going on about this, genetic modification, that. I'll go spend an hour pretending to pay attention to the poor fellow and be home as soon as I can.
Again, kind of bizarre to me that Ryan would build this place to allow for innovation and experimentation without oversight, then have someone try and explain to him there's a new way to give people literal superpowers, and Ryan just doesn't take it seriously whatsoever.
I guess it was just so beyond what's possible it seemed absurd. I mean, this was the early 1950s. Personal computers weren't even a thing yet. Even in 2025, some 70 years later, people are skeptical about new technology. Folks are still nervous about the concept of self-driving cars, robotic surgery, Amazon Alexas in their house spying on them. Probably, hell, people are horrified at the concept of AI in general. With the way technology has rapidly advanced, I think we are a lot closer to something like genetic modification and plasmids being conceivable now than they were during Rapture's heyday. And even now, people would look at you like you were a stark raving lunatic if you tried to convince them a shot of slug goo could turn them into a Marvel character.
Yeah, and at the point this audio log was recorded, Ryan still firmly believed the market would self-regulate, and he didn't need to be involved. If people wanted to shoot up whatever cocktails Fontaine the fisherman was cooking up, then so be it. He respected Fontaine's business savvy and liked a little competition in a way, but he didn't yet see Fontaine as a true and credible threat to him. And as he saw himself and Rapture as synonymous, he thus didn't see Fontaine as a real threat to Rapture either. Besides, if Ryan got too involved with people's business dealings, he ran the risk of appearing a bit hypocritical, since his entire Rapture sales pitch hinged on total freedom, as illustrated by this audio log from Bill McDonagh.
Mr. Ryan, I believe in Rapture, but that doesn't mean we always win. Fontaine Futuristics is the biggest thing going in Rapture. So let me be plain. When we arrest that tow rag Fontaine for his thieving and smuggling, we must make it clear that we won't touch his business interests. We sit on the council because these poor sods trust us, not because God gave us a chair.
It's been a while since I addressed this between all of your audio diaries and lore yaps, but the amount of times you've hit the near-death warning and somehow not gone down for the count is bordering on unbelievability. Is there a health gate or something in this game? I feel like I remember Joe getting smoked from half HP by the bouncer last episode, blowing right through the near-death warning, yet you've taken shots at very low HP and still gotten the warning and been given time to get into cover. Like right there. Again, what are the actual mechanics here?
Yeah, I remember getting left with 1 health from a couple bouncer hits, but I think the charge attack took me out from damn near 3/4 of my HP with no health gate to fall back on. Do you know how that works, Obama?
I'm honestly not 100% sure. The wiki suggests there's no health gate on Survivor as opposed to other difficulties, but it does seem to be active for most damage sources. I do know that certain attacks seem to ignore it, however, like bouncer charges and rosy rivet guns. I couldn't really find an answer after a cursory Googling. Maybe one of our viewers knows exactly how it works. For now, that's my best understanding from anecdotal experience. I do need to play another log here from Mariska Lutz regarding the mysterious disappearance of her daughter, Masha. Buckle up, folks, it's about to get pretty grim.
Darling Masha, we don't know what has happened to you. Ryan's men have taken you away and said you are needed to save Rapture. Who needs a child to save a city? But I see these little girls crawling out of this vents, and I only wonder if you might one day crawl out of this vent and find this note. We look for you, but if you find this, come to us at the Fighting McDonagh in room number 7. The code to our room is 7533. We miss you, our darling child.
Oh man, I really hope Masha wasn't little sister number uno.
Here's the Lutz's room at the Fighting McDonagh's.
Oh no.
Ah, damn, they found out what Joe did and just couldn't cope.
We saw our Masha today. We barely recognize her. That's her, Sam said. You're crazy, I told him. That thing? That is our Masha? But he was right. She was drawing blood out of a corpse by Fontaine Fisheries. And then when she was done, she walked off hand in hand with one of those awful golems. Masha!
Gotta say, looting the Lutz's corpses while we listen to Mariska lament the abduction and conversion of her child to a little sister, using scavenger to search them both twice, and then wrenching a creme-filled cake from their cold dead fingers is the most unhinged thing I've ever seen Barack do. Even I felt a little icky watching that happen.
Petty necro-larceny aside, Barry, I need you to tell me the truth. I didn't harvest Masha in the medical pavilion, right? Please tell me I didn't. I can't go on not knowing. I'm finna crash out.
We do learn a little more about Masha much later on in the series, but I feel like you deserve to have to sweat a little over your crimes.
Look, Barry, I appreciate you trying to avoid spoilers and maintain some narrative integrity so I can have a fairly organic experience for my first playthrough, but I'm not going to be able to sleep at night unless I know. Can you please just tell me this one single little thing? I promise I won't harvest any more little sisters, I swear.
Don't tell him a damn thing, Barack. Let him sweat.
Donald isn't wrong. You did this to yourself, Joe. Look, I'll mull it over while we listen to this audio diary from Tenenbaum.
As the respectable lads have all turned me away, I have turned to Fontaine's smugglers in Port Neptune for supplies. Fontaine's men are pigs. They spit, they stink. But they deliver, and they don't ask questions. They're all terrified of Fontaine. He reminds me a bit of the Germans. So efficient. It wouldn't surprise me if he were soon running things down here.
Kinda crazy the game rewards you by increasing your vitality when you sneakily and creepily photograph little 5-year-old girls, isn't it?
The Little Sister research bonus subtly implies to me that Bioshock's creative director Ken Levine might canonically be an adrenochrome enjoyer like me. That was absolutely not on my bingo card.
That's total nonsense.
You heard it here first, folks.
Maybe he wasn't an enjoyer himself. Maybe harvesting Adam from Little Sisters was Ken trying to low-key expose the wealthy elites for the way they treat children during adrenochrome extraction. Bioshock came out in 2007, and Pizzagate wasn't until 2016. Ken was really ahead of the game, wasn't he?
I don't know, Joe. Could all just be one big misdirection from the writing team. Like trying to guilt trip us into saving the sisters could just be virtue signaling to divert suspicion, but they slipped up by leaving the Little Sister research bonus in the game, exposing their true colors. It could all be one great big false flag operation, Joe. Where the hell is my tinfoil hat?
Oh, you can borrow this one. I always have an extra one with me after I learned about all those conspiracy theories surrounding George Bush in episode 4 of Darkest Dungeon.
You two should never cook again.
Thanks, Joseph, but switching gears, I think Barack might be deep-fried here. He accidentally hit a little sister with a nitro splicer grenade, and he's aggroed the Rosie without being able to do any pre-fight preparation. Get the popcorn ready, buddy!
First off, everything these two dipshits said about Ken was absolutely just a joke. Please don't sue us for goofing off. Secondly, I did accidentally hit the sister with the grenade. But Big Daddies don't really take I'm sorry very seriously. I think the best thing to do is to just hightail it out of here and regroup. I don't have the firepower or health packs on hand to 1v1 a Rosie from full health in close quarters like this.
Wait, you're just running away from the consequences of your actions? Stand and fight like a man, you goddamn coward?
Anywho, back to Masha Lutz. Joe, the sisters have about 4 different models they use in Bioshock 1 with different hair and dress colors. Masha is depicted in Burial at Sea as wearing a pink dress with dark hair. If you go back to episode 1, both little sisters we encountered used this model.
Oh, for fuck's sake. So it's possible Little Sister 1 was Masha? Damn, I really am the bad guy, aren't I?
That also means that content MVP and certified GigaChat Little Sister number 2 could have been Masha as well, right? As much as I'd like to twist the knife in Joe by pushing the narrative Masha was the sister he harvested, I think the possibility of her being sister number 2 is a more entertaining headcanon, to be honest.
To put this to rest, there's no indication as to which sister is Masha in Bioshock 1. Without giving you too many spoilers, Joseph, I will say that the series does eventually imply that if you do the good ending in Bioshock 1, Masha eventually gets a happy ending.
Oh, thank you, 8-pound, 6-ounce newborn infant Jesus. Don't even know a word yet.
I like to picture Jesus in a tuxedo t-shirt, cause it says, like, I want to be formal, but I'm here to party too.
I saw one of the smugglers having a game of catching on the docks today, and this surprised me because his hands were crippled during the war. He was unloading the barge the other day when he was bitten from the sea slug. He woke up the next morning and he found he could move his fingers for the first time in years. I asked him if he still had that sea slug. As luck would have it, he did.
That was Bridget Tenenbaum on the discovery of the Atom Slug. By chance, one was scooped up in a fishnet in 1950, and once she saw the result of contact with the slugs, Tenenbaum began secretly purchasing and experimenting with them. But I think this is as good a time as any to take down our first Rosie Big Daddy and demonstrate why security Bullseye is completely absurd. All you have to do is trip a security alarm via hostile cameras or a failed hack into an alarm tile, tag a Big Daddy with security Bullseye, and kick back and enjoy the show.
Now the eggs are in the scramble. We picked up Timmy Yates right after midnight. Either Ryan will be taking down Fontaine or Fontaine will be taking down Ryan. We'll be interviewing poor Timmy near Fontaine Fisheries. If you're up for entertainment, the code's 5380.
So, redirecting the hostile security bots to fight the daddy instead makes a lot of sense to me. But the alarms are only a minute long and the Rosies can probably shoot them down pretty quickly, right? Then you're stuck having to trip another alarm for more bots while a pissed-off daddy breathes down your neck? Seems extremely resource efficient and all, and diverting fire from you is always a good thing. But am I missing why it's the most game-breaking thing available? To the point you're going to semi-ban it?
In theory, it's amazing, but there'd still be the possibility that the daddy targets you, at the very least in between alarms. However, Big Daddies do not register being tagged with security Bullseye as a hostile action, meaning you can repeatedly send bots after them and never ever draw aggro.
Yeah, it completely breaks the Big Daddy AI. As long as you have a little Eve and access to an alarm, you can theoretically trivialize every single Big Daddy in the game, and you can even backtrack to the medical pavilion for use on that first bouncer encounter also. Since it kinda goes against the spirit of playing on survivor difficulty, I absolutely agree with the ban on using security Bullseye in this way going forward. Or at least, no more than once each, so that it's fair for the death competition, since Obama was determined to do it once for the sake of demonstrating how busted it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple pot shots at this Rosie just so I can feel like I contributed. No shade at all to people who choose to take out Big Daddies in this manner, of course. There's just other ways to go about the fights, and I want everyone here to use a little creativity for the content.
Okay, I can see how abusing Bullseye on Big Daddies often might make for some monotonous content in a Let's Play series. I think that little sister is blonde, so it isn't Masha, but that's okay, we still gotta rescue her. I'm really glad there is a tiny bit of leeway of a single harvest built into the game. For the good ending, I was gonna feel like a real prick if I excluded us from it. Again, folks, simply because I didn't know any better.
Once again, when did we all agree to do the good ending, by the way? I, for one, think that happy-go-lucky, rainbows and sunshine bubblegum bullshit is kinda unrealistic for the dark tone and gritty world of Bioshock. Besides, everyone's already seen that ending, maybe we should mix it up?
Honestly, I can understand where you're coming from a tad, but the other option is comically evil, like cartoon villain twisting the ends of his thin mustache while the world burns just for the sake of striking the match evil. That's not exactly better. The good ending fits into the larger narrative a lot better in my opinion. There's some interesting implications if you do double evil endings for Bioshock 1 and 2, and then Minerva's Den, but I'd like to hopefully talk about that in theory, rather than having it play out on screen, Donald. Besides, think of Burial at Sea lore.
You actually almost had me convinced until you tried to use the absolute clusterfuck of Burial at Sea lore to justify it. If this series makes it all the way to Bioshock Infinite, I eagerly await watching you try to do cartwheels like a goddamn hot dog water-riding plot hole apologist circus clown to try and make that shit make sense.
Is Burial at Sea really as frustrating as people on the internet say, Barry?
I'd say yes and no, Joe. It fits better than its biggest detractors probably think, but there are some understandable points that are raised about some writing decisions that definitely make my eye twitch. I'll dig into all that at a much later date. For now, let's go see about dealing with that hostile Rosie back at fighting McDonagh's now that I'm feeling a bit warmed up.
I hear the sister is still pretty upset, and wait a damn minute. Are those two Rosies duking it out?
You gotta be shitting me. How did this happen? Obama is about to get 2 gimme kills on these Rosies to get the last 2 sisters in Neptune's bounty. Guy isn't even gonna have to fight a single Big Daddy straight up like a man. Absolutely ridiculous. Once again, things are rigged against me. This is bullshit.
Damn, Donald's never stormed out like that while we've been gaming together. He must really be upset. I do have to ask Obama, how'd you get those 2 Rosies to fight each other? I mean, one had red lights and one had yellow lights? I don't understand what's happened. Do Big Daddies just throw down randomly like this? And what happened to no more security Bullseye, mister?
Honestly, my gaming just went on autopilot for a second there because my entire CPU was trying to work out why the hell these 2 Rosies are just randomly in a pissing contest with one another. This definitely isn't something I did deliberately, but I think I figured it out. Around the 32 minutes and 47-second mark, when I ran away from the original red light hostile Rosie, you can see him toss a proximity mine at me as I fled. I think the second Rosie came walking through at some point escorting his sister, and the mine must have gone off. The first Rosie has red lights because he is still hostile towards us, while the second Rosie has yellow lights because we haven't actually aggroed him. Completely unscripted and accidental. I honestly cannot believe my good fortune here. I can't even blame Donald for his reaction. This is completely free eats and two sisters to boot.
Honestly, I kind of agree with Donald. Your plot armor this episode has been insane. You've taken more bullets than a Goonie did in the Borderlands and somehow walked it off, and then turned right around and just got mad lucky like Shishia did against the Jack of Hearts and King of Diamonds by having two big daddies seemingly randomly KO one another for you. I know you've played a lot of Bioshock, but damn man, don't use up all of your ass pulls and main character energy in your very first episode. We have a long series ahead of us.
You have shown kindness to my little ones, but are you really a friend to us? Regardless, a little one brings you a gift to demonstrate our appreciation.
Yeah, look Joe, do me a favor and don't tell Donald about me using security Bullseye just now. I just kinda panicked, and I'll take the time to find another Big Daddy and show you a different strategy you can use to take them out, so you don't get walloped whenever it's your turn to play Fort Frolic. We'll also pick up Tenenbaum's reward for us for rescuing 3 sisters whenever we circle back to the Gatherer's Garden outside Fontaine Fisheries.
Okay, I feel a little grimy keeping secrets from Donald, but maybe it's better he doesn't know so it doesn't upset him. He's had a really hard time of things since episode 12 of Darkest Dungeon. I know he hates being forced to do those awful Real News Channel propaganda broadcasts for the Supreme Leader. It's really taking a toll on him, and I know the guy needs this series to be a fun escape, not something that also feels unfair and stacked against him.
Planning and paying for the Hamlet party was really thoughtful of him. Guy was even being nice to Kamala and Al Gore, which is something I never thought I'd see.
I really hope this doesn't piss him off and cause him to harvest the sisters in Arcadia out of spite. You better have a plan, Barry.
I do, fingers crossed. But anyway, one of the most common strategies for opening fights with Big Daddies is placing explosive canisters around Little Sister vents. Since Daddies will predictably check vents for sisters to escort, and return to vents to drop off sisters after harvesting. You did this in the medical pavilion on one of your attempts, but didn't give yourself enough clearance from the blast. Now that we have the grenade launcher, you can also load up canisters with proximity mines to increase the explosive damage. Won't be necessary here, but proxy mines work great.
Proximity mines on the canisters is a good tip, I'll keep that in mind. Interesting that the daddies will continue to look for sisters even if you've dealt with all of them in the level.
Kinda heartbreaking in my opinion. You can also intercept Rosie proxy mines and throw them back for some cheap damage as I just demonstrated. Works offensively as well as a defensive countermeasure against accidentally stepping on the mine as the fight develops.
Hey nerds, I ordered food earlier and it's here. It was too late to cancel your portion of the order, Obama, so I guess you can still have it. What did I miss? Please tell me, Obama caught the stray rivet to the nuts he deserves?
Unfortunately not, as funny as that would be. Thanks for the grub, Donald. So, this teddy bear has Tenenbaum's reward for saving the sisters?
The atom helps make up for the difference in between saving and harvesting, with the caveat you have to delay access to it until Tenenbaum rewards you. There's also useful items, ammo, and plasmids among the rewards as well. Here we have the Hypnotize Big Daddy plasmid, which tricks Big Daddies into thinking you are a little sister so they protect you. Situationally pretty useful, and intentionally setting up Big Daddy fight clubs is a pretty fun and lucrative diversion.
Cry out for Big Daddy's help. Make him think you're a little sister. Watch as he fights to protect you.
Interestingly, if I remember right, Hypnotize Big Daddy is one of the few plasmids we eventually see used by an NPC across the series. Given how spliced up everyone is, you'd think the denizens of Rapture would be slinging more offensive plasmids around, as opposed to most of them sticking with guns and fishhooks. I know we see the Houdinis slinging fireballs. I think there's an ice version also, but I always felt there's really a surprising lack of active, offensive plasmid use.
I'm going to agree with you on that. Perhaps it made things tricky from a gameplay perspective if splicers were 1-2, punching the player with electrobolt and a wrench. Does feel like a missed opportunity. The combat across the series does hold up pretty well, even being 15 to 20 years old, but enemy variety is definitely a place where the series lacks, which is odd given all the many possibilities when you look at plasmids and eventually vigors.
I'm okay without being hit scanned by electrobolt. Thank you very much.
Skill issue.
They sure go down easy once you research them up right. Come on in and show us those snappies.
Please burn the candids you took of the little sister. Oh, Peach sounds like a creep, even by US President standards.
Already took care of that with Incinerate. Let's head back to the Gatherer's Garden and spend some of the atom we earned from rescuing the 3 little sisters in Neptune's bounty, as well as collecting Tenenbaum's reward. I'm going to get the Eve and health upgrade passives, since we will be needing the boost as enemies get more dangerous in later levels. I'll also pick up an extra plasmid slot so we can keep a 4th active plasmid on hand and have more options on the go. Nothing else is essential at the moment, so I'll save the rest of our atom for Donald to access in Arcadia in the farmer's market.
Yeah, Miss Domino, your appeal to karma after the bullshit luck you had earlier is very transparent. Just know it will eventually run out, and when it does, I'm taking this series for myself. Mark my words.
What are the odds we can trust this Peach guy anyway? Atlas insinuated earlier we should be on the lookout for a double cross.
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
The warp rat didn't get himself at. You got something for me and my crew? Or are you just looking to get criticized? You set here a spell. I needs to set on some coffee. Maybe put on silverware and the like.
Bro just called you a, quote, wharf rat, and asked you to hold tight while he goes and presumably sets up some kind of ambush.
Before you head into the fisheries, a word to the wise. Old Peachy seems about as straight as a dog's hind leg. You keep your eyes open.
Oh boy, I know what I'm calling Obama on Twitter the next time my name ends up in his mouth.
Nobody walks into my swampy carrying the heat. Put your weapons in the pneumo, and then I'll let you in.
New goal, relinquish your weapons. The anti-Second Amendment propaganda is crazy.
But he can't very well take your plasmids away now, can he?
No more political jokes this episode, Donald. Atlas makes a good point, though. If Peach won't let us continue without laying down our weapons, we'll just have to defend ourselves with plasmids if things start to go sideways.
There's no other way through, is there? I don't like it, but we have a full stack of Eve hypos, so it should be fine. I promise to not accidentally hit Obama in the back with sonic boom. I'll be super duper careful, definitely.
I'll watch your back so Donald doesn't do anything stupid after splicing that hair grow tonic. If it works, I might try Fontaine's brain boost so I can stay sharp and beat Donald in the death competition.
Jesus Christ, evidence splicing is a bad idea all around you. And yet, you two are diving in headfirst. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Guess we better toss our guns in the pneumo and go run the ones with Peach so we can get the hell out of here.
Yeah, this is about to be our longest non-compilation video yet. By the time we save Atlas's family from Smuggler's hideout, I wonder how long is too long. It's a question I've had to ask myself daily in the sack since my teenage years, and most certainly an issue Joe has never had.
That might have been your most delusional voice line yet. It's cold as fuck down here, so I'm just gonna let that nonsense slide, and I can barely see anything at all. This is definitely a trap.
Now, I bet when the boss wiggled out of hell, he done told the devil he'd be right back, and the devil says, "Sure thing, Mr. Fontaine. I'll hold you a spot." Ryan promised Fontaine was dust, and now here you are doing his dirty. I guess that makes Ryan a bum, and you a...
Oh no, go ahead and finish that sentence, bitch. What does that make me exactly?
A wharf rat, if I'm not mistaken.
You sound kinda heated, Obama.
On my first playthrough, I didn't know about this camera, didn't see it due to the fog, and didn't have security Bullseye, so Peach's ambush worked and he got me in the back with a grenade. He's just another victim of Ryan and Fontaine, but the guy can kick rocks barefoot for all I care. Plus, mechanically, he's just a nitro splicer, so while the arena is a bit tricky, it's a pretty low-effort boss design.
I can see that. The bar was set super high early with the way Dr. Steinman was presented in the medical pavilion. Even though he's just a souped-up leadhead splicer, his intro scene is god tier.
Yeah, except the part where he maniacally screamed about me being ugly. Guy can rest in piss for all I care.
On the contrary, Joe Butterface Biden, that was my favorite part.
Find a mirror, Donald. You look like mashed potatoes and Cheeto dust. But I do also love when the series really leans into the horror elements. And while Neptune's bounty is a great level and packed to the brim with world building, it is relatively tame compared to the medical pavilion.
Looks like it's curtains for Peach. Guy got into a blow shit up competition with the wrong U.S. president.
The submarine bay was only used by smugglers and thieves. More than likely, the entrance will be hidden. Better to keep the coppers off the scent.
Oh, the criminals probably hid their criminal activity? Gee, Atlas, thanks for that little tidbit.
In other news, water is wet, and Obama has somehow defied death yet again.
If we were on PC, I'd be suspicious that he'd modded in invincibility for his episode. Looking at the schedule, I've got Arcadia and the Farmer's Market. Joe is getting Fort Frolic, you lucky bastard. And then Obama gets Hephaestus. I recall a pretty big difficulty spike in Hephaestus. So if Obama is clean through the rest of this video, it's no big deal. My boy Andrew Ryan will give our resident birth certificate forger the business in a couple months outside Rapture Central Control.
That last hit of cope is going to have to sustain you until the time comes. I also hooked you up with letting you play your favorite favorite level in the game if you look further down the list, buddy.
Hell yeah, I get the proving grounds, baby. About to show everyone why I am the GOAT at Bioshock 2. I'm absolutely stoked.
Fontaine's putting the screws on us, and double. He's squeezing us out of 80 points of our cut with the threat of turning us into Ryan if we don't play ball. Son of a bitch. Sammy G comes and tells me he's thinking of going to the constable. And the next day, Sammy G was found in a sack in a salt pond. We got no choice here. We stay on Fontaine's crew and we're gonna catch the gallows. We take the powder, and we end up like Sammy G. Oh, there's gotta be another way.
Damn, so these guys didn't feel like they were getting a fair shake in Ryan's dystopia, started smuggling for Fontaine, who then turned around and took most of the profits for himself under threat of turning them into Ryan to be murdered. Poor chaps just traded one master for another.
Can't blame Ryan. I'm a fan of blowing up smuggling vessels myself. But pause the misguided sympathy, Joe. We have our first power to the people station. Definitely Fontaine's greatest W. These vending machines let average hard-working folk upgrade their weapons to better protect themselves from splicers and corrupt constables alike.
Fontaine definitely manufactured these to spur violent unrest, but whatever, they are convenient for us, I guess, and each weapon has 2 possible upgrades. 1 upgrade per machine, and you're up next episode, Donald. Which one do you want me to take?
Shotgun rate of fire is the best first upgrade to take all day, every day. The DPS boost is crazy, and that rapid fire stopping power is so damn satisfying. And, well, I guess I'll pay it forward next episode by letting Joe pick the last power to the people upgrade in Arcadia. Do it, and let's get down to the smuggler's hideout.
Wait, I know I've seen that machine before. Donald, didn't you have one of these installed in the Oval Office?
Yeah, Emerald Boy made me a prototype before I fired his ass from Doge. I'm trying to get it shipped to the Hamlet so the prefect can finish it. I have a feeling we are going to need some serious firepower when it's finally time to take our town back.
Okay, seriously, you guys saw it that time, right? Some kind of weird old-timey photo of 3 people? I feel like I should know them, and yet I have no idea who they are.
You okay over there, buddy?
We gotta get Joe some brain boost, ASAP.
Gaslight me all you want. I know what I saw.
I'm right outside the submarine bay, but I can't get in. I'll need you for that. My family can't be more than 100 yards away.
Don't worry, Atlas. We are on our way to rescue them, and then together we are going to take down Ryan. Mark my words.
We all come down here. Figured we all be part of Ryan's great chain. Turns out Ryan's chain is made of gold, and ours are the sort with the big iron ball around your ankle. He's up in Fort Frolic banging fashion models. We're down in this dump yanking guts out of fish. Fontaine's promising something better. He's like one of us, you know? Like he's worked a day in his life. He says meet him at his fish packing joint at 11. I'll go, bring a couple of guys. Hey, it's not like things could get a lot worse.
Peach obviously never watched any of the videos on our channel, cause every time we say some shit like that, things inevitably get a lot worse.
Not this time. This rescue mission is going to be a big success.
Hit the switch up there in the control booth and let me in. I think it's time to shake hands and get acquainted.
You've had your fun, but enough is enough. If you press that button, you'll learn what it means to truly be my enemy.
Bitch. You tried to get splicers to kill us in the medical pavilion by putting a 1,000 atom bounty on our heads. We are already enemies, big dog.
I'm sure that was all just a big misunderstanding, Joe.
I know it's the holiday season, Donald, but Andrew Ryan is in Santa Claus. Hop up off his lap. But look, it's Atlas. We did it.
You blow a fuse up there? Can't see a damn thing in that booth. Give me a tick and I'll get you out of there. Moira, can you hear me in there, darling?
So dark in here. If only your friend could look up and see you. Maybe you could warn him. If only you could do something. Anything.
Oh fuck, it's a trap. Atlas, look out.
Just stand here and watch him die.
Splicers! They're everywhere! I can't hold them! Got to fall back! Get me family out and we'll regroup as soon as we can!
Obama, you gotta hurry. There were spider splicers everywhere.
Yeah, I see them, Joe. Just gonna snap a few research photos for Extra Nutrition 3.
Bro, are you fucking kidding me with the research camera right now? We don't have time for this shit. Atlas and his whole family are gonna die if you don't get your ass moving.
I'll take that extra nutrition tonic, Barry. I'm about to pop off at my next White House physical.
The way you two are acting right now is unbelievable.
Relax, Joseph. I can't save them if I rush headfirst into a mob of splicers and die.
You're worried about the death competition while Atlas and his wife and child get gutted by spider splicers?
Atlas isn't worried about his family. He's leaving them to die so he can retreat. Why the hell should we care about them? Besides, after what you did to little sister one, I find it fucking hilarious. You are all of a sudden pretending to care about children.
Spent the morning jawing with that crowd scientist. She's damaged goods, all right. Just like all those chumps they scraped out of them prison camps. But she's no crackpot. She's gonna make me the kind of scratch that'll have Ryan look like he's running a paper route. She just needs some supplies to get the ball rolling and a friend to watch her back.
That's Fontaine referring to Tenenbaum.
Worry about lore later. Get to the sub, Barry. Oh, fuck. Barry, what the fuck were you doing playing audio logs and looting dollars off corpses? They are dead now. Dead! We could have saved them.
You ooze in like an assassin, and then you try to sneak out like a thief. You're no CIA spook. Who are you? Why have you come here? There's two ways to deal with a mystery. Uncover it, or eliminate it.
Absolutely no sense of urgency whatsoever. You and Donald were dicking around, and that son of a bitch Ryan killed an innocent woman and child. I don't even know who you are anymore, Obama. Get the hell out of my way.
For fuck's sake.
Bro doesn't seem to have any concept of what a scripted event is.
I knew he'd take it hard, but goddamn.
His sudden concern for innocent lives sure is convenient after episode 2. Little sister number 1 gotta be rolling her eyes so hard she can see her own frontal lobe.
The Irish pork pie offered me a deal. I flip him Fontaine and I walk out of here. That's simple. How do I know that fat fuck isn't Fontaine's guy? How do I know they're not all Fontaine's guy? Fontaine's got Adam, and everybody wants it. Ryan's got a whole lot of talk and a nice suit. Even down here, any idiot can see which way the wind is blowing.
And there you have it, folks. Another banger in the books. Donald takes over next week in Arcadia.
And I'm about to pop off like GameStop in 2021, baby. You won't want to miss it.
We will learn more about how little sisters are used to produce Adam and the effect their harvesting had on Andrew Ryan, Tenenbaum, and the citizens of Rapture as a whole. And ultimately, get one step closer to confronting the King of Rapture himself.
Thank you all for your attention. We love you folks for spending time with us here on the channel. And would you kindly join us back here next time?
Take care, everyone.
Come on, Obama, let's go find Joe. He's probably already forgotten about Atlas's dead family, but we'll go to Baskin-Robbins just in case. My treat.
Hell yeah, I'll drive us.
Later, folks.